would say the two biggest themes I would say are honesty or transparency and agility. And we talk about agility a lot in technology, but we tend to talk about it as, we're always developing and things are getting better and we're taking it one bite at a time. I think where we don't always hold ourselves accountable is in being agile in our own practices, right? So I love this idea of failing fast. So even for our team, as we're implementing, we implemented with 56 pilot organizations last year. We did not get everything right. We got a lot of stuff wrong, but we learned from every one of those things and we got better. And so we really try and promote continual growth and that growth mindset with our team, but then we try and take that to our organizations too. And I think what that bleeds into is this idea of what we cannot do is go to them and say, we're going to make everything better, because what we know about technology is things are not going to be better at first. It is hard to learn new technology, especially if you don't have that muscle developed already. And so what we really try and do is instead speak to the behaviors that are going to change, the patterns that they're going to see that are going to be different in their daily work, and give them a really tangible way to think about, this is what things look like for you now. This is what they're going to look like 2 months from now, 3 months from now, et cetera, so that they can really they can anticipate that there is going to be, a steep curve at the beginning, but then things are going to level off and things will be easier over time. So I think for us, as we're trying to kind of get folks onboarded, that's part of what we've learned along the way is, overselling this promise is only going to hurt us in the end, and really working with them as partners, super transparently, and continuing to grow from that experience ourselves, I think has been probably one of the most powerful parts of our work.
Early on, one of the things that we learned and kind of knew is how important trust is. Really building trust with the team, with the people, with your internal customer as you try to bring change and deliver technology. Full transparency. We're a big organization in San Diego, but we had a lot of false starts. There was a lot of change, a lot of things that was that impacted our ability to drive the things forward that we wanted to, and the consequences of that were the staff at large who did not believe that the change was really going to come, and we found it's so important to again really make it about them, really to get close to them, to really over communicate everything in the way that our team want to be communicated with, but trust is so critical to being successful as you do everything from modernization to upskilling to just managing change.
I'd say the communication has been mentioned is key. We are transitioning. We certainly hope things are going to be much better in the future, but change is hard and it's going to be messy along the way. And there's going to be that transition point where you might even be wistful for that ancient system that we're looking to get rid of as soon as possible. But we'll work together, we'll figure out best practices, and we'll improve as we go. And in the end result will be something that is far superior than where we are right now. But it's not this easy path to walk to get from A to B.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Tom. Sorry.
Yeah, it's so interesting, and this is another important aspect of our work, where John's earlier point of we're dealing with people, process, and technology, and we really got to focus on the people part. Because every time I've approached an implementation, I've done so with change management scars that I've learned from, and I went in like, I'm ready, and I'm banging the change management drum early in the process. But it's fundamentally what we're doing is from a process perspective, we are changing the way that people show up, right, and earn a living or give, as a volunteer, or do it. It's fundamental to their experience, what we're doing. I've had cases where, I was replacing a process that took 30 days with a Salesforce-based process that was real time. And there was fear and reluctance, right, to move to that from someone at an executive level. So we've got to embrace the fundamental fear of change, and start the change management discussion early in the process, and with the groups we're working in, and we've all provided examples of it, right? Have the change management discussion. What does this mean to you, right? And at best, right, we're just creating a change management bond amongst ourselves, because what we've done and developed an approach, because ultimately there will be lessons learned, there will be unforeseen circumstances, but as we go through each iteration, they become fewer and farther between, right? And ultimately, like even through the difficult moments, the organization is change management aware, as by virtue of our starting early in the process, and we see it as a growth mindset moment of continuous improvement. But start early, focus on people. Clearly recognize that change management is going to be one of the most challenging and critical things we do. We're all in it together. And the work begins.
Absolutely. And I would add that, know that as you change, culture is going to show up in very interesting ways within your organization, and you have to be prepared for that. Again, my local small example is just the change that's happening in San Diego around digital transformation is also tied to other cultural work that's happening to try to create a better, more sustainable, healthy culture. And if you talk about things like innovation doesn't live with technology, innovation lives in culture. And, and as you try to change, culture, I forget who said it, but, culture eats strategy for breakfast. There's been a lot of breakfasts eaten here in San Diego as we're going through this change. So just be aware of that. And you have to be able to lean into culture as you're bringing, technological change, as you're bringing modernization, as you're working with people, because as Tom said, people, process, technology, it's always about people first. Technology is dead without people. So.